Hey, I never really touched on the Montreal Canadiens draft that much. They had a really interesting draft. Their drafting over the last number of years has been a little bit up, a little bit down to me. But we're going to be talking about some very specific prospect news that I really think is quite big for the Montreal Canadiens in this video, plus some other rumors halfway through. But guys, welcome back to Pixel Plus Hockey. If you could make sure to hit the subscribe button, it would be so greatly appreciated. And thank you to those that are already supporting me. When the Montreal Canadiens traded both of their first round selections for Noah Dobson, I was seeing a lot of people that were like, oh, that sucks. We're not going to be able to draft in the first round. But the one thing that I think that people need to understand is that you can get a talent in the second round that should have been drafted in the first. Guys, outside of the top 10 in an NHL draft, it's a crap shoot. It really is. And you never know what you're going to get. I mean, look at the Maple Leafs. They got Matthew Nyes. Ryan O'Reilly was drafted in the second round. You can get a hell of a player in the second round. Now, past the second round and in the third and fourth, it certainly does tend to whittle down quite a bit. But they made a move at 34th overall for Alexander Zharovsky that I really like. Now, to be fair, his KHL time was limited. I believe he played about, in the playoffs, he played about 6 or 7 KHL games and had 1 point. Now, to be fair to that, he only played about 6 minutes of ice time, so you can't bury a guy for not producing that much at 6 minutes. Like, what the heck is he going to do? But we got some really great information about this prospect, maybe making a change and coming over a little bit early to Montreal in North America. And this is a really interesting quote right here, according to a report by Marco D'Amico on RG.com. Following a conversation with Viktor Kozlov, Zharovsky's coach for his KHL team, the hope is that Zharovsky will leave at the end of this season to join the Canadiens. Now, to be fair, this is not a player that's going to just jump in the National Hockey League. I mean, I don't think. Also, though, I want to mention that he is playing in the KHL, which is a more equivalent with the American Hockey League. I don't think that he's going to be able to just make that jump. However, when he plays this season in the KHL, you're going to want to keep a close eye on him, because if he's producing very well in the KHL, maybe he could make a jump to the NHL. Now, that's not a guarantee. Last year, they worked really hard to get Ivan Demidov in North America, which worked out, and it kind of seems like they're kind of doing the same thing here. A lot of teams tend to be a little bit worried about drafting KHL prospects. I think that's really silly. Who cares? I mean, I understand it can go bad. I understand in the past that it has gone bad, but this is a player I really like. If you look at his prospect analytic analysis, he has like off the charts in terms of what he's producing in the Russian junior leagues at that age. We're seeing it all in the green. Offense 90, offensive production 90, and I'm telling you that this is potentially a player that has top 6 potential for the Montreal Canadiens. Now, this is a really interesting quote just to finish off this prospect analysis. On Saturday morning, however, Zharovsky was still available. The Canadiens were determined to get him, and Bobrov knew he wouldn't still be on the board if he let Nashville Predators speak at 35 overall. So again, they actually moved up just ahead of the Nashville Predators to get this player. So if this player works out, I mean, I'm telling you, this is going to be huge for the Canadiens. I know some Montreal Canadiens fans do have some criticism of Bobrov, but at the end of the day, man, he was instrumental in getting this player very clearly. So I don't know. I like this pick a lot. I could end up being wrong. Maybe I got egg on my face, but again, drafted very high level of talent. This is the exact type of player the Canadiens need. They need more scoring, in my opinion, although they have a nice top 6. But I think they need more scoring and more high-end talent, because you never know when you need to call a prospect up for him to produce offensively, right? Like, you're going to, guys are going to get injured and stuff like that. Things happen like that all the time. Now, to move on from this, apparently the Montreal Canadiens are thinking about moving Carey Price's contract. Now, I understand a lot of people don't really get this, but it's because LTIR doesn't occur, which means that, like, by the trade deadline, they would have a lot less money to work with. It's not as valuable as actual cap space, which is why they are trying to potentially move his contract, and this would be good for the trade deadline and set them up for the future. Here we have a really interesting quote. The signing bonus for the final year of his contract is set to be paid on September 1st, and it's not a small sum by any means. Price will receive a $5.5 million check, which in turn means that he will still carry a $10.5 million cap hit, but will only cost the team acquiring him $2 million in actual money, making it a cost-effective avenue to reach the cap floor. So again, shenanigans like this inside of the NHL is still going to happen, where you have teams like, cough, the California teams, just San Jose's, you have the Anaheims, these teams that might not be at the cap, even the cap floor, not even the cap ceiling, but at the end of the day, they need to get there, and it makes sense. Now, I'm interested to see if they trade Carey Price and then just use that cap space immediately, or as I said, let it occur, and then you can use it at the trade deadline. So again, I'm recording this July 19th, so that his signing bonus is being paid September 1st, which means after that, probably right before the season, so between September 1st and then October 1st, or whenever the season starts, early October, we're probably going to be looking for a really, really interesting trade to happen there, and then what will the Habs do? I'm interested to see if they actually trade him very fast after the September 1st deadline and then make another trade. That's what I'm going to be looking for. Maybe I'm just hoping to see more trades, but I think that would be really, really good, and perhaps they can get the center that they want, or perhaps they'll just, put Jake Evans there or Kirby Dach. It's interesting, they were talking and potentially telling Zachary Leduc that he should work on his face-offs, which I'm thinking to myself, wait, are they going to get him to play center as well? So I don't know. It's really, really interesting. But anyways, guys, I am going to leave this video here. If you can make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it, guys. And make sure to have a great day. Goodbye.